Hello there everybody and welcome back. This is Ram here and today we're going to be learning how to dock. And as you can probably see down in the bottom right hand corner, this is version 20, not version 20.20. Yeah, I saw that came out and I'm guessing that's probably just a bug fix. And I already recorded this, so I'm just going to go and continue on with this version. And as you can probably also tell, this is post commentary. This time I thought that it would help the video go along a little bit faster, so I'm trying the skin with a new software that I got that will hopefully be a lot better with this. As you can probably see there, I transferred in the save, so we've still got all the old stuff from the last save of the tutorial series. And if you haven't seen the other part of the tutorial series and you're not quite sure how to get into orbit, then I'm going to stick a little box up on the top right hand corner right now so that you can go and click on that and go back to that video and get into orbit. Okay? So if you haven't clicked on that box, then you guys must already know how to get into orbit or have seen my last video. Now, if you did see my last video, you probably saw that I didn't really show you how to get into orbits that were like exactly the same. So I'm going to go over that one in this video. Don't worry. But first we need to cover go over the ship that I built. Now, as you can see there on the top, I stuck some lights on there because it's very important to be able to see. And it doesn't really show it in this shot right now, but what I forgot to do was check and make sure I had the right size docking port. That's very important that you have the right size docking port. So because of that, I had to go and put a little adapter on the front of this so that it had both types of docking ports, and that was really annoying. But make sure that you know which type of docking port that you put on the other thing that you're going to dock to. Then I have some more docking ports, some medium-sized ones, which are more the commonly used ones. I know they just added in some of the bigger kind, but I'm not really going to be going over that. That will be for another video. So I've got the medium ones in the center there just because it's always good to have extra docking ports, but as you'll see later, I needed more small ones, so but if you actually check out what kind of docking ports you have up there and what ships you have up there, you guys will be fine. Now, as you can see there, they're the little tiny things. In the video, I'm not quite pointing to them yet, but on the yellow 3 little tubes down there, middle, I'll put an arrow to it on the screen, a little box or something around it. That thing is an RCS thruster, and now my mouse is actually pointing at it, so that's more helpful. The little RCS thruster is what you use to move around when you're in orbit around a planet and about to dock to something. You don't really use your main engine a ton once you get close to the other ship because it's just going to fly you in the wrong directions and you have to spin around a ton to get there, and as you'll see later, I have to do that a lot because I don't get in as close as I should because I made my orbit really wonky to show you guys how to fix that. So that's there. But so you want to put your RCS thrusters on there, and that tank that's got the yellow little lines on it, that's an RCS tank. You have to have an RCS tank to use RCS thrusters. I've seen some videos of some people that are actually fairly big YouTubers, and it always makes me really sad when they go and stick RCS thrusters on there and don't put on an RCS tank. But I guess now we've jumped along to where we're in space. I didn't really want to show you guys the whole getting up to orbit and everything because I showed you that in the last video. So here we are in orbit, and I don't think there was anything else that I need to. Oh yeah, about the RCS thrusters, really quick here. With those, you want to make sure that you have them equally spaced around your center of gravity or center of mass, because if not, you'll just be flung in really weird directions, so that'll be bad. But I gotta catch up to the actual video now here. So what I'm doing right there is I left-clicked on the little blue line, which is my orbit, and that bring up a maneuver node. Then using the little pink arrows, I adjusted my orbit so that it was straighter towards the other orbit. Um, and the way that I made that other orbit yellow, which is targeting the orbit, is you go and you click on the little icon or space shuttle icon that's in that orbit, and thankfully now, with the latest update, it'll I can't talk. It'll say that uh, you can either set it as target or put a maneuver node there. You want to set it as target. The other thing that I was using on my little blue line was a maneuver node. Um, the maneuver node makes it so that you can adjust like your orbit before you actually get there. Uh, it won't actually do it for you. You have to put on the throttle and stuff, but it'll tell you where things are. And on the little nav ball down there, it'll put a little blue marker. So you just kind of spin around, look for the little blue marker, and shoot towards that. It'll give you a little time readout, how long it's going to be. It's always good to sort of go a little bit before that time because it expects that you're going to make all of those changes right at that point in time. So you want to kind of move a little bit before that happens. And you also want to make sure your SAS is on, because as you can see there, I kind of flew off into the middle of nowhere and made it a lot harder for myself. So make sure your SAS is on. Now, one other thing that I had to look at was those little yellow dots that are on the orbit. They're not really dots, they're more like these little tiny tags there. There's the other little tags there that I'll get into in just a second here. But those little yellow tags, those are how much your orbit is off, how many degrees your orbit is off from another orbit. So when you get to that tag, if you use the little maneuver node and the little purple arrows, you can make your orbit so that it's a little bit closer on that. If you hold your mouse over it, the number will get bigger or smaller as you move that little purple thing up and down. And you want it to get it as close to 0 as possible. Now, those other little tabs there, which I really hope that I switch to again, but I don't think I am. But those other little tabs there, those are for how close, when you set a target, it'll tell you how close you're actually going to get to the other object in your orbit. The orange pair one is the first interception, and the purple pair is the second interception. Yeah, those things really fast, as you can see there. And I'm moving the little yellow arrows after I've gotten my orbits so that they're basically what it's called is on the same plane. The degree is off only by like 0.1 or 0.2. Negative or positive doesn't really matter, but the degree's on there pretty good. So now I'm just using the little yellow arrows to adjust my orbit size. That way those little tiny, both the two little orange tags and the little purple tags, they get as close to each other as possible. And like I said before, those are just representing your ship. And see here, if you go back into the normal view out of map view and you still have a target locked on, then it'll bring up that little yellow symbol there that's got the amount of space between you and it on it. I think it says, I'm watching it at a very tiny screen, I'm going to guess about 3 kilometers. Yes, that is probably horribly wrong, but that's what I'm guessing, because I can't see it very well. But that's just telling you how far away from it you are, and you can also see on your nav ball, it has a little tiny readout of, I'm pointing at the screen, I know you guys can't see this, but on your nav ball there's a little readout of how fast you're going. When you have something targeted, then it will tell you your speed in relation to that object. And normally when you get about as close as I am here, you want to get it to 0. I don't recall if I did that or not, but using your RCS, which is controlled by pressing R, which will turn it on, and then using J, K, I, and L to move up, down, forwards, and up, downs, left, and right, and then N and H to move forward and backwards. H moves you forwards, N moves you backwards. Using those keys, you can then normally get yourself to 0 meters per second, and from there you can use the same amount of keys again to move yourself closer to the object. And you can see your speed again with using the nav ball's little speed indicator, and that will just show you what the speed that you're going in relation to the object that you've targeted. And here I'm just having to maneuver myself around so that the keys on the keyboard actually line up with what I'm seeing a little bit better. Because if you're facing totally backwards, all the keys will be reversed, and it's a little bit annoying. So sometimes you sort of have to rotate yourself around um, to get yourself closer. Or not to get yourself closer, but to get it so that you actually understand what you're doing. Now I skipped ahead here a little bit because it was just a really long time of me moving back and forth and everything. Then I suddenly realized, oh dear, I've got another ship on here. So I just cut forward to where I'm moving this ship away because I wanted to dock with the little capsule that we originally set up. This ship was actually from another recording of me trying to do a docking tutorial, but unfortunately it was horrible. Just like this one's audio was horrible, so and recording over that didn't really work. So I went to this one, and this ship's probably a little bit heftier, is a good word. So it'll be a much better space station up there, if I leave this as a space station, or if we go for a moon platform, which could be the next tutorial, hopefully not as hectic as this one. But as you can see here, I'm using the I, K, L, J, H, and N keys to move forwards, backwards, left, right, up, and down. And I'm just slowly positioning myself in there. And you don't have to get it exactly on. Like the docking ports don't have to be exactly touching each other. But what you really need to do, you have to have them really close, but they do have a little bit of magnetic pull. And they have to be closer than what I am there. As you can see, I think I bumped something, sent that flying, or else I will here pretty soon, because I'm not good at parallel parking in space. But yeah, I already sent it. It's spinning. You really don't want to tap it unless you actually dock it, because if you tap it, or if the two ships tap, then one of them's gonna normally go spinning around. Even if it's not super fast, even a little rotation is incredibly hard to deal with. Then you're gonna have to toggle between ships by using your bracket keys, not the one on the 9 and the 0, right next to the P and O and the backslash. You've got your little bracket keys there, and that'll toggle you between ships and objects. That way you can get it so it's not spinning, so you can actually dock like I did there. And as you could probably see, I was looking at my keyboard, not the screen, but you guys could probably see that once you got close enough, there was a little bit of magnetic pull, like I said, and it just sucked you in. So you don't have to be exactly on. Another thing, when you're docking, when you actually dock, you normally want to turn your SAS off or your RCS off, because if you're low on fuel and stuff, the two SASs of both ships will just kind of go crazy trying to control themselves, even though they're a little bit off from each other. They're not lined up the same. So when they actually meet and become one ship, they kind of jiggle each other up, and it really can be bad for your fuel consumption. Now, here what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to dock this ship to my other ship there, and I ran into a little bit of a problem with them not being the same size, like I was saying earlier. That was a little bit of a problem. So you always have to remember that you have to have the same size docking ports. Now I think I've went over everything. I'm sorry that this video is a little bit hectic. I did one recording over myself before post commentary, and it was kind of weird. But I hope this one went okay, and I hope it tells you everything that you need. If you guys need any more information, then please put it in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like. It really helps out. And God bless.